Hey everybody, my name is Lady Gary to you, and welcome back to us by The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. Welcome, Lady Gary to you. Do you have something to discuss with me? The woman who got over her broken heart is getting prettier by the day. This is what I was talking about earlier, a couple videos ago, when I talked about how much I loved Batreaux' dialogue after you quote-unquote break up with her. But what I wanted to point out is that something that I'm pretty sure some of you may be confused about, because even after you get all the heart pieces, there are 2 heart containers that are missing. But if you have life medals, you get another heart container. So if you're wondering why our heart containers weren't maxed out, even though we got all the heart pieces, that is the reason why. But now we're gonna be turning in the last of the granted crystals to Batreaux. We're gonna get a gold ruby. Shh, don't tell anyone. That's not all I want you to have. Goodness, no, I have so much more things to give. Here, take this too. And we get another gold ruby! Yay! It's so exciting! Clap for joy. Oh, you're back, and it does appear you've gathered more granted crystals. Oh my, you've gathered 80 granted crystals. If I'm not mistaken, that's all the granted crystals in the whole wonderful world. Thank you ever so much. So, granted crystals come from feelings of gratitude. So does this mean that nobody can ever be grateful again in the world of Skyward Sword? Anyway, we get the Tycoon Wallet, the best wallet in the game, where you get 9,000 rubies in traditional The Legend of Zelda fashion. When you get the most powerful ruby, the most powerful wallet in the game, chances are you will never be able to max it out. Yay! I have all the granted crystals required to becoming human. I wonder if I'll really be able to make this transformation. My heart is aflutter. Oh no, he died. I'm just kidding. Oh my god, he looks so different! Well, how do I look, my dear friend, Lady Gary to you? Oh, you needn't say it. I can tell from the look of sheer astonishment on your face. My appearance has changed so dramatically that you've been struck speechless, haven't you? Allow me to tell you this. There's simply no word in your language to describe how grateful I am for your help. I'm deeply touched. From now on, I plan to live happily with everyone else, not as a monster, but as any other person. One detail that I find really adorable is that if you go talk to Kikil after he becomes human, so you'll talk about, "Aw, Uncle Badge is human now? I liked his wings." It's actually really adorable. But if we go into the bazaar, we can see Batreaux in his human form walking along the people. His dream has come true. I simply can't thank you enough for all your help. I'm overjoyed. For so long I wondered what it would be like to casually stroll through the bazaar, and here I am. And look around, the best part is nobody is screaming in horror. Ah! Well, I gotta say, I really love that about this game. The whole side quest of turning Batreaux back into a human and seeing his dream come true, and just walking among people without screaming in terror at him. I love that side quest. It's a big reason why this is one of my favorite Zelda games ever. So I'm just really glad that I was able to sell that off to you guys, that we were turning Batreaux back into a human. But now that we are like 5 or 6 minutes into the video, I'm not quite sure, we're going to be going into the next dungeon. Oh yeah! Welcome to the Sky Keep. There's a treasure chest in the center. Let's open it. It's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be eggnog. Oh, we're kidding. It's not gonna be eggnog. It's just gonna be a stupid dungeon map. As if those things are ever useful. Master, I have information to report. I've detected 3 sources of sacred power within this building. This power clearly radiates from the Triforce. I've triangulated the 3 sources of power and marked them on your map as places and cheat codes. So, now we're going to be getting into what is widely considered the most difficult puzzle, the most difficult dungeon in the game. Simply because this is the last dungeon in the game, which means we're so close to the end of the game, and I can't stress how excited I am to be almost done with this game. Anyway, what I really want to talk about is this dungeon in particular, the main gimmick. Fi's going to be pointing out how these panels right here, when we swipe the tiles around, the physical layout of the dungeon is changing. This is an awesome gameplay mechanic. This is one of my favorite dungeons in the game, possibly even my #1 favorite dungeon in the game, because I just love this gameplay mechanic so much. So, like I said, this the entire dungeon layout itself is like a big puzzle where you have to change it around to get to the Triforce. There's a couple of things unique about this dungeon. One, unlike the other dungeons in this game, this dungeon is not really all that combat focused. There are a couple rooms that have a lot of enemies that you have to take care of before you can progress, obviously, but unlike the other dungeons in this game, this dungeon isn't really all that focused on combat. There are enemies, but this dungeon is mostly about puzzles. If you want a comparison, think about the Oracle games, how the Legend of Zelda Oracle of Ages is based more around puzzle solving, while Oracle of Seasons is based more around combat. That's basically how this is like, where all the other dungeons in this game were pretty much based around combat, but this one is more based on puzzle solving. You're going to be using all of your items throughout this game. Well, to a certain degree, you don't have to use all of them, but this dungeon really does require the use of all your items. It's like the last boss fight of a Pikmin game, how the last boss fight requires you to use all of your Pikmin types. Something else that's also really cool is that you may recognize this music. With the exception of the ancient system, which I'll be getting into in a moment, every dungeon in this game is represented in one way, shape, or form. All the dungeon themes, with the exception of the ancient system, are used in this dungeon. So we're gonna be seeing a lot of familiar themes from the other dungeons throughout the game, and I love this detail so much. This room obviously is based off the Skyview Temple, where we began our long journey. We're gonna be using crossouts to get across here, and something I'm gonna point out is that off camera, I did upgrade all of my items to their maximum power. I think I pointed this out already, but this video we're gonna be actually being able to see how awesome they all are. Starting with the Tough Beetle. The Tough Beetle, you can ram it into a wall a couple more times before it explodes, it'll also travel a bit further, and it goes faster. So yeah, you definitely want to upgrade the Beetle. But what you want to do right here is that you want to go bomb and destroy the middle monster. If you do not destroy them, you can try to get on the rope. They're going to breathe fire, and which is going to knock you off into an endless abyss of death and doom and destruction and pain. So you want to blow them up, and then you want to use the gust bellows to go across these platform things. Jump! Hooray for editing! Kind of. I only really need to edit out like a couple seconds. It's not that big a video. Anyway, as I was trying to say a moment ago, we need to use gust bellows to go across these platform thingies of platformness. Swing. When I was a kid, on the playground, when I was like in elementary school, there's a playground. And obviously the most popular toy on the playground was a swing set that had like a bunch of chair swings that you can swing on. And the thing is, how my school, the rules for that playground were if you were on the swing set and somebody else wanted to come along, they would come over to you and start counting from 30, and they would start counting from 30, and by the time you got to 0, you had to get off. So basically that meant that a kid would walk up to you right when you got onto the chair swing, and you'd have to, they would count to 30, looking like dorks, for you to get off. This, it was always a little weird, how, because whenever you got into a swing set, there was like a kid who would like whenever you got into a swing set, kids would like go around you like vultures, wanting the swing set, and when they start going to 30, like in my mind, I'm all like, no, it's my swing, I'm playing with it, you can wait your turn. But, you know, you had to follow the rules or else you'd get in trouble. It wasn't too bad, it could be worse, but, you know. Anyway, enough about elementary school. What we need to do is that, we need to go across this ladder, and there's a switch over here that we can activate. And it opens a door to your doom. Oh no, whatever. Oh my god, our Ruby counter equivalents to the year that The Legend of Zelda came out. Yay! I think! If I'm wrong, I'll put a caption on screen right now, but I think that our Ruby counter equivalents to the year that the original Zelda game came out, and I am such a nerd for knowing this off the top of my head, but I don't care because Zelda's my favorite series ever. I always like to make it my goal to get up here before the time shift orb does. It's probably impossible because I've never been able to do it, but I'm always like trying to race up there to see if it's possible. If any of you have been able to achieve it, please tell me in the comments because it'd be really interesting to know if it is possible. Anyway, now we're in this room. This room is basically based around the Lanairu mining facility. Luckily, it's nowhere near as boring and annoying as that dungeon, but basically it borrows the elements of the time shift orbs, and it borrows basically this room borrows the elements of the time shift orbs and those little I don't really know what to call those things. The thing gets you use the gust bellows on. Anywho. Oh, by the way, you may have noticed right there that, you might also notice this from the previous video when we were taking care of minigames, but I actually found a way to instantly charge your bow and arrow. Throughout this entire game, ever since I've been playing this game, I've been using the A button to fire the bow and arrow, but I recently learned that you can instantly charge your bow and arrow by pushing the C button on the nunchuck and pulling back by pushing the C button and pulling back on the nunchuck. I never knew about this, and now that I know about it, it makes using the bow and arrow so much easier, and it actually adds a little sense of realism to the bow and arrow controls, because I'm not sure if I've ever mentioned this on camera, but I've actually used a bow and arrow before. And when you're pulling back on a bow and arrow, you have your, you have like the arrow, you have two fingers, pulling back on the arrow while your bow is going. With the nunchuck, pushing the C button and pulling back on it, it gave me the same feeling of pulling back on an actual arrow, and I just really love that little sense of realism that I got with the controls. That's like how in Majora's Mask I always have the bow and arrow equipped to the down C button, so that when I'm playing on my GameCube controller, I can push back on the thumbstick and I can push back on the C stick, and it'll make it feel like I'm pulling back on the bow and arrow. So what we need to do right here is that as the time shift orb goes across this room, and those evil vines go away, we can shoot our bow and arrow to hit those targets. So you do not need to hit these in a specific order, nor do you need to hit them all in one go. You can hit them in any order you want. You can take your time. There's no hurry to get across this area. The only real problem I can see with this area is if you run out of your bow and arrow. So you need to be careful with that. So, now that we've taken care of all that, we're getting this video off here. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video of The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. Next time, we're going to be continuing on to the Sky Cave. And until next time, dear to you. Oh yeah.